Some people zone out like on, like you said, elliptical, or when they, I don't know, play the guitar, when they wash dishes, whatever. I mean, there's a million things you could do where you kind of get in the zone. And it's so important. Like when you get in that, that's what I call meditation. Getting in the zone. So it doesn't mean you have to sit there cross-legged, like, doing all that stuff. No, it's just getting in the zone is meditation.
Welcome everybody to Spirituality. If you're a new here, my name is Kat. I'm a longtime astral traveler and spirit consultant. Welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much. We love you. I am pleased as always to have my good buddy and colleague Joanna, who is a hypnotherapist and a spirit medium, joining me today. Thank you, Joanna.
Thank you, Kat, for having me again.
I was hoping to be able to chat to you today because I feel like you and me, we have a good rapport. We can talk about some real stuff, right? And I was
Mm-hmm.
hoping to be able to talk to you a little bit about practical magic or the real daily practices of spiritual people. Now, I'm going to ask you a real question. In your daily routine, in your daily life, what do you have as an actual spiritual practice regularly?
So, that is a great question because, my life is different, whole new chapter in my life. Now, being a mom, I can't just wake up in the morning and sit there in my little meditation for however long. I sit there, drink my cup of coffee to wake up my brain, uh, and listen to some gratitude affirmations. I just pop them in my ear. First thing I gotta do is I gotta be grateful for my day. It's not that I gotta, but it just sets my tone for the day already. Like, no matter what happens, I'm grateful for all the little things.
I
Hey,
feel
I
that.
gotta,
Do you use
yeah.
a like gratitude affirmations for you? Is
Yeah,
that like your go-to? Is that it on YouTube?
yeah. I mean, I have my own recordings where I actually recorded my own voice. I feel like to
I
actually
should
hear
do that.
myself
You
say
know,
it.
I haven't actually. I should actually like record some morning messages for myself.
Hmm.
Maybe it would be helpful. I don't know if it would be helpful or not to actually hear it in my own voice. Like if my brain would recognize my own voice as more of a, like more impactful than listening to somebody else do it. That's an
Well,
interesting question.
you
Now you got
know,
me taking notes. I'm about to write that down.
take the note. But scientifically speaking, there's this one that I followed I mean, over 15 years. His name is David Bradley. It's free on YouTube and has all kinds of affirmations. I mean, how to be a genius, how to, whatever, you name it. He probably has it, the
Hmm.
video, how to be gorgeous. I don't know. And on it, he says, literally, in the first few minutes, he explains it. And there's subliminal message, and there's a certain frequency he actually has that he uses, that you hear in the background. And he says that when it's given in the second person, like meaning his voice, about you, we're made to believe when somebody else tells us about ourselves that we believe more than ourselves. So if you were
Really?
to say it to yourself, you have to get in a state of first believing and getting so confident in yourself that you believe what you tell yourself. But if you're not there yet, he says it's just scientifically the way we're made, created, that we believe more so if somebody else tells us about ourselves, that we believe more.
That's kind of interesting because, some affirmations when you look at them on YouTube, some of them are written like the person is speaking, but they're making I statements. I am so fabulous. I am abundant. But some of them, like, do you think maybe it would be better if you recorded them to say, you are fabulous? Like it's somebody else talking to you. That's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into that on YouTube too and see the difference between like statements that are said about you. That's kind of interesting. I do
Yeah.
something similar when I get up in the morning, except you're more together than I am. What I learned is that if I give my brain a chance to start itself, it starts thinking about everything it needs to do in the day. So you know those moments like when you kind of first wake up but you're sort of still just laying there?
Yeah.
You're not really like out of bed yet. You're in that real kind of in between
Yeah. That
state.
hypnosis
That's
state,
when I
the
sit
trance.
up. I sit up and that's when I put on, I'm just sitting in bed like kind of falling over still like ugh. But I have this one it's actually an Abraham Hicks one and it's just her going, it's a great morning. It's going to be a fantastic morning. Today is a beautiful day. Today, I'm going to get into the vortex. Today, everything is always work, and it's just that over and
Yeah,
over again for
yeah.
about 10 minutes. And I just kind of like sit there and like
That's
half
me with the
asleep in
coffee.
bed. I don't even get out of bed before I put something on because by the
Yeah.
time I get to the kitchen, I've probably already thought like nine things that I don't need to be thinking about to start my day off on the wrong foot, the wrong energetic foot. But it really does actually help to catch yourself in that early state.
Yeah, the trance state. So the most important, Kat, is right when you wake up in the morning and right before you fall asleep, right? So that state is when you really implant the things in your subconscious.
Here's a good question. You know those moments when you really need an energy realignment in the middle of the day? Like, what do you have practices you use for like when you just notice that energy is tanked or I am really thinking negative thoughts
Yeah,
about myself right now or about my
yes.
situation? How do you what do you have practices you use for getting that back on track?
Yes, and that's super important. That is, I think, vital. Let me tell you, I tried freaking everything. The one thing that I do that actually works in real time, and I learned this from this woman called Donna Eden. It's called Energy Medicine. I took the course. Now, there's points in our body, meridian points and different points in our body. And when we tap certain places, and I can show you right now when I just go back up my chair, it's called tapping. I will show you, okay, when I just sit back over here. So we have meridian points. The ones that I focus on the most is the one, it's when you go to the collarbone, there's a meridian point right here. And you just take these 2 points and you just tap it. Tap it, or you can massage it with your thumb. Another point is you just go a little lower and it's where your armpit is over here on the line. So it's not under your armpit, it's just a little distance and it's like over here. And I usually either massage it, and even if you massage it now, you could feel like I have tension right now. And once I do that or I tap it, and then I even tap some of my points on my chest and underneath my, can you see it? Underneath my rib cage, like over here, underneath, there's another point right here. There's another one you could do on your head, but I'm only showing the chest because personally for me, when I do the tapping of the chest, and I recommend this and I say for everybody to try it, because I promise you, if you just do it for 30 seconds, you will feel a difference and you literally feel a release. That's how powerful it is.
Yeah, and they do have courses. I've taken online courses for tapping so that it is a thing that you can take like classes on or look up videos on. The
Yeah.
one that I did, there was a whole like they had like a whole routine of different ones they were doing, but it may be something to look into, re-look into doing. Because I think anything that's just a disruption to the thought processes, like the mental algorithm that you have going on, if you're feeling stressed or you're having those negative thoughts, I think the tapping
Mm,
works as a okay, we're just going to focus. This is very physical. This is
yeah.
it's like a now moment. It's like being present, mindfulness, like bringing yourself back into your body a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that can help just disrupt the thought processes as well.
Yeah. There's another technique that I recommend. I don't know the name, tapping something, but where you literally sit there and you tap this point on your palm right here. And you actually just tap it like this, like you said, disruption. But you tell yourself things. So if you're more of the vocal person when you need to speak about it, to express it, you literally tap here and you accept how you feel. You don't deny, you go, I am upset right now. I'm aware that I'm upset right now. So first you actually accept the process and then you convert it going, okay, but I know I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to move from this space. It's like a therapist talking to you how to overcome it. Like, accept where you are. Know you're not going to stay there, that this is just a passing emotion. And then you go into the positive, going, where do you want to be? Because you're in the present moment. Like, I am going to feel better because I am better now. That worked for me, basically. And I do this
Yeah.
energy release because the thing is, you mentioned about the energetic frequency we have around ourselves, the aura and our
Mhm.
energies. So when it's distorted, you could literally take the energy in yourself. And there's a technique from energy medicine where you just take it, pull it down, and bring your hands up and release it. Like, and
Yeah,
I've
and I've
noticed
talked to
that
other
helps
people
me.
who do that with yoga as well. Like they'll just take a moment to actually do like a downward dog and like release up this way and then release that and just release the energy that way. Sometimes I do think that there's something about like a physical action in the middle of our day, especially to help ground in, make it physical, make it a now moment to releasing that energy. So if whether that's tapping or making some sort of a movement in order to clear that energy, I do think that doing some kind of physical activity with whatever you're doing helps to reset that energy
Yeah,
field for people. I do think
yeah,
there's something to that. Personally,
absolutely.
I tend to like I control I tend to control my energy field throughout the day with music. Like I almost never don't have my headphones on or my earbuds in or at least one of them in. So if I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I'm getting that way, I'll put on some kind of calming music or some kind of frequency music or I tend to control my energy. I'm very audible, I guess.
Yeah,
A very
I do the
auditory
same.
person.
I was actually, when before you said that, I was literally gonna say music or dancing. Music is a frequency, either gives you energy, calms you, all these things that it does. I mean, it is a frequency. It's a very, very powerful frequency.
And it's
And
even really
also,
useful if
yeah,
you like because, like you said about accepting it or about leaning into it to get it through, like you can even, if you're having a rage moment, you could put on some metal or something, just scream in your car on the way to wherever you're going, just let it out, and then it feels better. So sometimes you can use music to go ahead and move through the emotion as well. Do you
yeah.
have like wind down like practices that you use at the end of the night? Like, do you have a spiritual practice, like a pre-bed spiritual practice that you do?
I do. I do. The writing I do in the morning. Some people do writing at night, but the morning I do the writing. But at night, I exercise and then I get my little cup of tea. I take a little breather. I get my bath ready. So for me, I love baths. Like bath, sauna. I mean, I did the showers, but it's just not the same. Like, first of all, cleansing the body, and I have a whole little routine. It's only 15 minutes. It's not much, but I get. Is it okay? Is it spilled? Is it
It's
wet?
all right. It's all right. You can't see it, but they'll be able to see it in the whole thing. Like the top of my tea kettle just fell off into my tea. We're just gonna pretend like that
Perfect.
didn't happen and just keep drinking it. Whatever. I love baths too. I don't do them nightly because I don't have. They take too much time. But I do. That's part of my. I was gonna ask you about this too. As part of my monthly or weekly. I usually like for full moons and new moons, I do baths. But I do like the full goddess bath, like
Yeah.
all kinds of like chamomile in it, rose
Mhm.
petals, Epsom
Mhm.
salts, candles. I get my
Mhm.
tea, I read my book, like I will soak away stuff, but I usually do
Mhm.
that on the moon cycles, new moon and full moon.
Yeah. I created this routine where it's actually very efficient. I just, do the little lavender and I have and like, well, I use my phone, in the bathroom, not probably not the best thing, but I turn on my little relaxing music. So, and it's only 15 minutes. So you could say, oh, baths take long. Yeah, generally they do, but I made it in a way where it's efficient because it does so much for me that when I sit there, that's
Yeah.
my meditation. I release everything. I feel amazing afterwards. And I know mom life, usually that wouldn't allow for
I
this.
was
A
just
few,
gonna say, like, I
Mhm.
got this feeling of like I can totally see that for you having like a child all the time and like they go to bed like the bathroom, and I know because I live with a ton of people. The bathroom is like the one place where you can lock the door and just know everybody else is over here, everybody else doing like this is me. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, I do like in the middle, I do my like baths at night, like in the middle of the night when everyone else is asleep. The busy mom life, the busy like
Mhm.
house full of things going on and people, like the bathroom is the one place where the door locks and you can really just like tune everybody else out. So
Yeah.
I feel that there's it sounds so stupid to say it, but there's a special energy about the bathroom, isn't there? Isn't that weird? But it's also where I get ready and do my makeup and do my self-care, like skincare and, brushing your teeth,
Yeah.
like all these. There is kind of a special energy about the bathroom, isn't there?
Well, it depends. Like, if you bring that atmosphere there. There is, because I know plenty of people, let's say men, some friends, I walk in their bathroom, it's like, it's not cozy. It's not, like, personally, it's not cute. Like, it's a man's bathroom. It's like, ooh. I think it's like the touch we put into it. So to me, it's like your house could be whatever you want it to be, but it's what you actually put into it to make it cozy, to make it lovable, to make it, you know what I mean? That space.
For me, I do my my serious meditative work at night, so I will do at least 20 minutes of serious meditation and receiving, and then I usually will channel write or write down whatever came through, whatever messages I got, whatever insights that I got. It's also when I do my manifestation work. So I do a thing where I start off, like, that's when I do my gratitude practice. It is I start off with, like, I love, the moon and the way the grass smelled today. I really loved everything that this and this is happening. And I really love meeting so many cool people online and getting to talk to people and put out these videos. It's so much fun. And then I'll, like, shift it into things that haven't happened yet. Like, I really love all of my millions of dollars, and I love being able to go to Italy. And I really love, so I start, it's kind of like it starts off as a gratitude practice until I really get the energy or the feeling of the things that I really love and appreciate. And then I start shifting it into having that same energy, the love and appreciation for things that I'm manifesting, and putting all that stuff down. So that's usually how I end my night,
But
like
that's
with my spiritual
perfect.
practice.
Yeah, I love that because like you start off with, you reflect on your day and then you kind of go into like the real feel like of actual the day and you could take it in. It's beautiful. Everybody to each their own, right?
Mhm.
And then dive into like, oh, it was real. I smelt it. And now you transition over like, yeah, now millions is real too. It's beautiful. It's perfect. I say it's perfect,
Yeah.
really. For
I
me,
can
it's like,
smell the grass
yeah.
and I can smell the money,
Smell the
but yeah,
exactly. I mean, money is made of like a grass in a sense. I mean, it is
yeah,
paper. I
yeah.
mean, close enough. I mean, kind of getting there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's green.
I like to be able to generate the real energy of gratitude, the real things I love, the real appreciation of all of that, get that energy like really ramped up and going, and then roll into like the appreciation and act as if those things have already happened. So that's usually the nighttime is when I do my gratitude practices as well. And I kind of combine a gratitude practice with manifestation practices. So
Yeah.
do you have things in your home that you set up that's specifically spiritual stuff? Like for specific spiritual reasons? And here's what I mean by that is
Hmm.
personally, like my bed and all the beds in my house, like the head is facing north.
Ah.
Like I make sure that all of the beds are aligned with the head facing north and feet facing to the south, like lined
Hmm.
up with the poles and stuff. Like weird stuff
Hmm.
like that. Do you have like I don't know if there is a spiritual I mean, I consider it a spiritual practice for me, but like, whether that's maybe it's superstitions or traditions or things. Do you have things like that that you do in your home?
Well, I don't line it up to the poles, but if you have a bed, this what happened to my daughter, and if you have it facing where, let's say you have the water, I would say drainage, the pipes, like actually right behind it, you will not be sleeping well. Because there's a lot of energy flowing through because water is energy, or electrical currents, anything that's flowing, like meaning a lot of water, a lot of electricity, all this stuff. Like my daughter's room has, that's where the actual box is. It's on the other side. It's in a hallway in a closet, and that's where the box is for the electricity, and she always had trouble sleeping, bad dreams, and that's where I saw the apparitions the most, actually in that doorway. So there is truth in that, meaning like what's in there, what positioning do you do? I don't have it facing a certain thing because it's more the spacing in the house, but I have a little feng shui thing going on. That's important to me, a little feng shui, where has to have a
Yeah, that's
flow.
what I mean is like, do you
Yeah,
have little
yeah.
things the way you arrange your home spiritually, like that just is your little personal things that you do?
I think I think on a subconscious level, without actually like researching it, like I think you have to just pay attention to how you feel,
Do you
like how.
have like annual things that you do? Do you have like certain things that you observe or annual things that you do for your spiritual practice that's just, things, little things for you? Some
I.
people have
Mhm,
traditions surrounding the new year, some people have
mhm.
traditions surrounding certain other holidays.
The one main thing that I can think of is spring clean, like not just spring cleaning, but I have a thing where it's like, winter cleaning, spring cleaning. So at least twice or more times in winter. Like when I transition of taking the winter clothes and putting them away, that just naturally I start organizing, put away things like, anything like wintry things and clothes and maybe other things that I don't really use as much in the winter, like heavier blankets that are out onto the sofa that I don't use. So it's kind of like reorganizing the space by the seasons. That's my thing. How about you?
Well, I definitely, there's certain things I do, and I picked up a lot of different practices. Some of them are cultural practices that I picked up because I live in a very like multicultural area and I've worked with like so many different kinds of people. So, some of it is just, making sure that the house is fully cleaned and set up for New Year's so that you ring in the New Year's with a clean home. It starts the energy off clean. That's one thing. In the spring when everything blooms and because I have a big yard, so when all of everything comes into bloom out in the yard, annually I send the kids out to go pick whatever elements, flowers, or whatever else they find out in the yard, and we together everybody does a protection spell for the house. We have like a jar that sits on the front porch, and so they all pick whatever elements feels right to them for protection for the house and everything, and then we do together. We kind of combine our energy into a protection spell for the house for the year.
Mhm.
And it's kind of fun to let them do that because, you can really feel based on their own personalities what they pick, they bring in that they think is protective is kind of neat.
Mhm.
My littlest one, he always brings back like thorns from the rose bushes because he's gonna stab people, like they're gonna stab bad
Protection,
people.
like a
Yeah,
sword.
yeah, it's kind of funny
That's
to
so
see,
funny.
what their energy kind of naturally draws them to. Sometimes they bring me other little things that they think are neat that would be cool to leave on the altar or whatever, because I have an altar set up.
That's so cool. I love that. My daughter recently has been doing that whole potion and spell thing, but it's more in the bath. And I'm like, she just got into it, and
Hmm.
she's like just using the toothpaste and like the rose petals that I have that are artificial. And I was like, honey, what are you doing? Oh, mommy, I'm making a potion. I'm like, well, what's the potion? Oh, it's for you, mommy. I was like, oh, I hope it's a good one. What kind of potion do you want? Want to turn me into a frog?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Sometimes you gotta watch that with little kids because yours is
yeah.
still quite little, right?
Oh, but she's 4. She's like,
Yeah, yeah. I think yours
uh,
is still quite a little one, so sometimes they get that. When my kid was 4, once he told me he was going to throw me in the trash can and put me out on the street with the trash. That's just because
oh
he didn't want to clean his room. They get
my
like that
gosh.
sometimes when they're that age. Just this year, for the first time, I actually set up and did a full winter solstice observance. We lit the fire and kept it going all night, and I set up the pine branches in a circle all the way around it with all the chairs. And there's a little altar, and it was actually really cool.
That sounds awesome.
I had never actually set up a full like observance of winter solstice before, but it was really fun to do that.
I love that. I used to, like when I was in Denmark, especially, I used to go to events with friends, a big, a lot of people. We'd have a
Mm.
bonfire and everybody gathered, like where they had the blankets and picnics and their good friends, and like everybody gathered. But it's just, like I said, the food, the gathering, and just the joy, laughs.
Yeah, there's something powerful about like women getting together to make stuff, you know what I mean? So we were sort of,
Hmm.
making crafts out of like the pine branches and stuff and pine cones and things that we had around and baking bread in the kitchen, and it's a very powerful energy. Here's a question. Do you have like a practice that is like you wish you had time for, or you've always wanted to engage in, like wish you could like get yourself in the habit of doing? Because I feel like that's
Yes.
a thing too. What is it if you had like infinite time and your ultimate circumstance? Like, what practice would you like ideally love to be able to get into
Oh my
doing?
gosh. Oh my God, this is the best question ever because I love to sit there in meditation because I can go into it and literally out of my body while I'm consciously sitting in. So, man, I really wish I can go into that trance because that's when I channel. You have to surrender to that. When you surrender to it and sit, if you don't surrender, you don't really go the same. So I missed that because when I used to do that, I was able to channel such like profound stuff. And now
Hmm.
I'm in this like I'm doing it and I almost hold back because I can't be in that kind of state when I'm a mom. Or I have to be conscious and be here to take care of business. If I'm like half asleep, like, whoa, where am I? That's not gonna work. So
Yeah.
that's what it is for now. How about you, Kat?
I feel like I wish I could get into a more serious yoga practice. I have gone to yoga classes before, but I've never really been able to ground in the habit of doing it like personally at home as just a daily practice. And I always think about it like I would love to be, even if it's just for the stretching and the flexibility and like I said, the connecting energy to the physical body is I feel like an important thing, but I've never been able to actually quite force myself into making the time to get into doing yoga regularly. Sometimes it's the routines, right? Like you get yourself in a routine.
That's
Like you
it.
said, you do the bike. I have an elliptical machine I do. And I like that again, I think because I can just put my music on and zone out. And it's kind of when I go into like creative mode, like imagining different things, writing different things.
Yeah. Everybody has their
But
like zoning out stuff, don't they? Like some people zone out like on, like you said, elliptical, or when they, I don't know, play the guitar, when they wash dishes, whatever. I mean, there's a million things you could do where you kind of get in the zone. And it's so important. Like when you get in that, that's what I call meditation. Getting in the zone. So it doesn't mean you have to sit there cross-legged, like, doing all that stuff. No, it's just getting in the zone is meditation. Once you get into, you said the routine, this is the biggest thing for me. I mean, I have ADHD brain, right? Clearly. And for me, the biggest thing is like we were talking last time about getting a strategy for myself about my day, like about the daily routines. Having a routine is so important because depends. Like then you need time for yourself, and if you don't set up some time for yourself, if it's I don't know 15 minutes of writing or whatever, exercising, then you're gonna like lose the time. Go, oh, I'm too tired. I'm gonna go to sleep now, or it's like you're gonna be oh, you're gonna feel exhausted and drained eventually, like I did, and I was like, holy cow, I gotta do something about this. So I did. So now I have time to write, which I love. Time for my business, time for my daughter, and time for myself. So I found somehow the balance in the little limited time that I have, and I feel much better now, you know?
well, honestly, like my life is set up so different than that that I almost feel like weird talking about it. Like I was for a long time, I was a person who was working, that 50, 60 hour work week, sometimes even more. I was a postal carrier, so sometimes when we had mandatory overtime, I could be working 70 hours a week. And I have three kids, and but they're older now. Like when they were little, like I still remember what you're talking about. Like I had little ones, too, and multiples of them running around, and we were and working full time. It was a hot mess, right? But I think it was, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago now that I had a total energetic breakdown. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. Couldn't even get out of bed. Like it was so bad that I didn't even call in sick from work. I didn't even care anymore. I couldn't even get out of bed. I couldn't even move. And after that, I consulted, I talked with my guides and I went through the inner searching and I came out of that phase like, you know what? I just work for the universe now. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what that means. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know where the money's coming from. I don't know what we're going to do, but I work for the universe. So my day is very different. I wake up when I want to. I go to bed when I want to. I
Mm-hmm.
I make videos when I want to. I schedule podcasts when I want to. I spend my time gardening if I want to. It's a very different flow and vibe of life. And my kids are all older now. My youngest is turning 13 next month, so that's my baby. you know. So
Mm-hmm.
it's my kids are all I'm not making sandwiches and wiping butts anymore. It's that phase is over for me. So a
Yeah.
lot more time freed up to sort of structure and organize things in the way that feels best to me.
Yeah. And everybody has a phase. And the phase that I am in, the phase of, okay, well, this is where I am. And it's rather than fighting it, it's just accepting it, going, okay, well, I'm not clearly like, where I could vision that eventually I'll get there back to my more freedom and where I have more time for myself. But even my friend said, enjoy the time that you have. And it's like a broken record, like, yeah, okay, whatever, In a sense, that's what I'm trying to do now. I really am
Yeah.
soaking it in. So I'm like, okay, I understand what they're saying. I'm not going to fight it. I will not have this time back with my daughter. But I'm processing my emotions and feelings about that, going, listen, this is where you're at. You're a mother, single mom. And I'm very loving and more, patient, compassion because I accepted it. I go, this is where you're at now. You cannot change it. It's all going to pass. Enjoy the moment, do what you can, and enjoy life at the phase you're in now.
Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate the chat and the conversation. If you guys have things that you do in your daily life, daily practices, or ways that you arrange your house, traditions that you have, drop a comment and let us know. I think it's so interesting how every individual makes spirituality work for themselves in their own lives. You guys can check out Joanna at mindhealingguide.com for hypnotherapy, and she has a YouTube channel as well under the same name. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for being here. Like, subscribe, all of that fun stuff, and we will see you next time on Spirituality.